Good morning. It's time for Coffee Talk. It is Sunday. I have my coffee. That's a medium roast of some kind. I didn't actually get the name of it. Got about 3 different kinds sitting in the bowl. The big bowl, all the Keurig K-cups. One day I need to brew a nice cup. But that would take effort, and I don't want to do that on Sunday morning. I just want to get up, walk in here, do a little research and figure out what I'm going to talk about on Coffee Talk. So what do we have for today? Been a busy week. Been a really busy week, actually. A lot of stuff has changed. A lot of things have come out. So we'll talk about the stream channel news. We will do missions and specials. We'll do the subjects du jour. We got a marathon. We got a new matchmaker. We have codes that have to be put in for your missions. Yes, codes that have to be put in for your mission. I did put a small PSA out about that earlier. Hopefully most of you saw that. We'll talk about it again, but I'll go back into a little bit of the background and the details on it, as much as I know or can talk about. Yeah, and excluded maps. We're going to be able to exclude maps. I don't know why you would, but you can, and there are some rules with it, so we'll talk about that. All right, let's get started with the channel news. Check it out. You can see my T28 prototype right here, right? So the T110E4 is on track. I've been playing it. We're going to talk about that because there's some things you're going to want to know about that on track. It's a little bit different than before, but that's why I was playing some of the tanks on it. The reason, which we'll get to in a minute. T28 is in that line. I happen to like this tank. I had it 2 marked. Sat down and said, well, I'm going to play my battles. Again, I'll tell you why in a minute. Why I would play a tank I already own on an on-track, other than just to do the on-track and as normal. There's another reason. Is that enough foreshadowing? I think that's the hook. That's going to make you stick around. Yeah, that's the theory. Anywho, when I looked at it, I was at 89% on my MOEs for the 3 mark. And I went, okay, got some battles in it. Maybe I can get that closer if I'm lucky, maybe even get up to 95. Played 1 battle, had an ace tanker with 3,000, maybe 4,000 damage, about 5,000 combined, something around there, 4,000 or 5,000 combined. Pretty good battle. And came back and I had a 3 mark and an ace tanker. And I went, ooh, that's good. It's good when the on-track's going and all the nubs in the world are playing tanks, because it will drive down your 3 mark requirements pretty nicely as everyone's piling in to a tank they're not that familiar with. So that was fantastic. So I got that done. I did a TS5 review. You can find that. I will put a little link. Card. It's called a card. This is YouTuber speak, all right? I'm starting to learn all this stuff. It'll be up here somewhere. So a little card with a link to the TS5 review. You know, that's a pretty good Casemate Premium TD. I'm going to be talking about this over the next several weeks, but one of the subjects is definitely going to be the new matchmaker and how it is, at least at first blush, making tier 8 much nicer. And things like Casemate Assault TDs and some of these kind of super heavy tier 8s, things like the Marbrecker, are actually benefiting a bit from it, where they used to be just kind of a pinata. There's some more capability with some of those tanks. So some of those, this is bad, this is good, may have to be revisited a little bit as we go along. But I'll talk about that as we go. And I should be streaming on the 10th, which is Wednesday. Day off on Wednesday. You should see me streaming. I may actually stream most of the day because the wife's going to be out of town, and I can be a proper nerd and just go crazy with the streaming. So you may see quite a bit of streaming this coming up week, hopefully, out of me. That'll be cool. And last thing last, I'm finally back to getting about 2 videos out a day. I've got a whole stack of them. I've got to upload them, but you should start to see 2 videos a day. Last thing I will ask from you guys and gals and people, if there's anything you would like me to do more of or less of on my videos, maybe that's dangerous. Maybe that's dangerous to ask, but seriously, if there's something you'd like to see more of, see me do, let me know, and I will try to make that happen. I've done that over over the couple of years now, and it has helped me kind of refocus my fire on places that you guys would want me to go or take a look at or do within reason. I still intend to get the map room thing going. It's just that those take so long to do that I'm lazy, and sometimes I don't. If I can sit down and do a 10-minute video, 5, 6, 10-minute video on a replay, that's pretty easy to do. For the map thing, it takes me about half an hour to an hour to get everything put together and then do the yappity yapping and all that stuff. So that's my whine about why I'm not getting you guys more map rooms. I know it's pathetic, isn't it? It is. It's sad. All right, let's move on to the missions and specials. Some pretty funny stuff on that. Right then, we always shill first here on Coffee Talk. We shill first, support the evil corporation first, and then players second. That's how I roll. So, okay, that's sarcasm, by the way. If you don't have a sarcasm filter or meter, please just know that about 95% of what I say is sarcasm. Anywho, Marbrecker. Remember I mentioned that earlier about assault TDs and possibly these kind of proto super heavies. The super heavy at tier 8 that just got absolutely waxed by the 9s and 10s, and its armor was useless. This is speculatory speculation is happening right now, that I think some of those tanks are going to be worth a little bit more and a little bit better or nicer to play, let's put it that way, because they haven't changed the stats, right? It's just the situation around them is changing a bit, and I think you may see that they're a little more useful to you at this point. So that will bear watching. I'm not coming down on one side or the other of that, but I am leaning towards that statement. AT-15A is out. That's a pretty nice tier 7. It was even good anyway because it was tier 7. It sat at a pretty good tier with the old matchmaker. I've always kind of liked that tank. You're not going to zip around and carry end game battles where you have to move around the map a lot in that bad boy, but as a slow plotting, just machine gunning things down, it's pretty fun. And in platoons, it's absolutely hilarious. It really is. The TOG is a meme. I don't know. Will the TOG benefit from the new matchmaker? I don't know. It's been pretty painful for the last couple of years. Snail Squad things there. There's the TS5. You can see I have the 20%, what's the word I'm looking for? Reduction. Sometimes words just leave, right? They just, like Elvis, he's left the building. Discount. Discount. That's the word. It's because I have so many great words in my brain that I sometimes forget the common ones, right? I'm always using the bestest words out there. TS5, 20% off. Not very far, am I? Look at this. It's got 5 days of premium with it, though. That's pretty cool. That must mean, is there 5 days of premium? We'll have to look at that. The mission may have a total of 5 days of premium. I wonder if that actually changes if I'd already won one of those days of premium, or if it just sits there and says the whole thing anyway. Is it dynamic? I haven't looked at that. That's interesting. Do the other things fall off of the list as your discount grows? I should look. I'll have to count it up. I'm not going to do it right now, but that's an interesting question. Okie doke. Then we get down. This is pretty funny. I never really thought about it until I got to this one. So if you look over here and you've got the Kick the Habit emblems, right? It's International Stop Smoking Month or week or day or whatever it is. You bad smokers, you must stop. It's for your own good. True, smoking is terrible for you, but there you go. We all make our own decisions. That's not the point. See, tangent. I've gone off onto a tangent. Where was I? Oh yes. What's it look like? Wait a minute. Do I get it if I click on it? No. I have no idea what this emblem looks like. It's a new emblem, I believe. If it's in the client, then yeah, we could dig into the client, look around through all the emblems and find out what the heck it looks like. But why would I want to do that if I'm in the store? And in any event, if you were building this store, if you were the guy that owned this online store, why would you not put a picture of what you're selling? It's a Kick the Habit emblem. Here's a can of paint with a random color and some scroll things. Is that what it looks like? Is that what's painted on the side of my I almost said truck. Is that what's painted on the side of my truck? Tank, SPG, wheeled, armored vehicle? No. Doesn't that seem strange? Never really thought about it. It's been this way forever. That's how camos do it. That's how they do. That seems lazy. Just put a picture of it, man. If you're trying to sell it, why? I don't get it. Anyway, very strange. Look at all the TOG, different versions of the TOG you can get. And the Lorraine 40T, which is a pretty good tier 8. Most of these are memes or kind of niche vehicles. The TOG, obviously, the Marbrecker or the AT-15A. But the Lorraine is just a good all-around medium tank at tier 8 for a premium. Quite a good one. And lots of fun. I mean, you got that clip. Nice little autoloader guy. But remember, he's a French autoloader, so he doesn't build as cool autoloaders as the Italians do. So remember that. KV-122 is interesting. Not a great tank, but pretty fun. Can be pretty fun. And remember, this is the one that burns me every time. This particular package does not give you gold for the tank. I'll just leave it at that. I'm still bent. I am. I'm still bent about that. Quick starter kit still around. Some various discounts on gold. People may actually be coming up on needing gold. Depending on what you did on Christmas, you may be running out and how much you had built up. So obviously there are some discounts, but a lot of them are packages that also have silver in it, which decreases your gold purchase value. If you just want straight up gold, you can do the any amount of gold, wherever that is. It's in there somewhere. All right, premium account. So this is interesting. This 30 days in a light is $12.59, and this 30 days here is $12.59. So remember, if you're just going to buy 30 days, make sure you buy this one. Even if you have the VIC, you don't get the gold, but you'll get the silver and you'll a little bit extra thrown in there, and a garage slot plus a crew. Crew's not worth much. It's what, 2 or 3 guys, but there you go. Things to think about. Vehicles, again, are kind of lame. The Loza's M4 is out. You can see that in the garage as well as it spins around towards the back. So you can, that's kind of the featured thing right now. The Snail Squad I talked about. Here's all the other tanks we already kind of went over. Nothing really new there, and then the standard stuff. So frankly, it's kind of boring as far as those go. And a lot of the same. Remember, featured and specials are different. I have no idea why, but they are. Nothing else really to add. Now here's a pretty good. I've mentioned this one in the past. We'll touch on it again. This starter bundle is not bad. It gets you 7 days of premium. It's $10. You get a really good, actually, tier 3 premium tank. The T127 is pretty darn good. You get your 7 days. You get a bunch of credits and a little bit of gold to put equipment on and take equipment off. So if you're on the fence and you're just starting, you're looking at Guido's channel saying, wow, I'm thinking about World of Tanks, drop $10 and this will give you a lot of the experience of World of Tanks. Break, it's low tier depending on where you are on your account. So don't equate everything meta-wise that happens down there to the rest of the game. It's quite different once you get to tier 5 and above. But as far as the mechanics of premium days and using a little bit of gold, things like that, and having some silver to buy modules and improve your tanks, this is not a bad way to do it. All right, let's move on to the missions. So, this is pretty funny. You can't see it, but it's from Dimmons_1, who sent some videos in, and he admonishes me to make sure to sip carefully and naturally. It's good. It's a good point. I've been working on it. How have I been doing so far? Has it been natural? You ever know sometimes when I'm watching the video and I'm seeing how it went and making sure the volume's good and stuff, a lot of times I'll pick my cup up and talk and then I'll put it down. And then I'll pick it up and I won't even take a drink. What is that? I bet they have classes for news anchors and people like these morning shows. I bet they have classes on how exactly to most correctly and naturally use your coffee cup while talking without spilling on yourself. Hey, TS-5 marathon is in progress. You can see I've finished 2, hence my 20% discount. I am nearly done with number 3, 11 out of 12. Remember, and I went through this on my little PSA earlier in the week, but just for those who may not have seen it or to refresh you, remember there's the mastery version, which in theory should go faster depending on how good you are for tier 9 and 10, and then there's the regular version for tier 6 to 10, mission for commitment they call it. So you can do both with your 9 or 10. Really, probably the best way to get through these the fastest is play tier 9s or 10s. whichever one you're better at, because you may trip the mission for mastery before you get to the mission for commitment, and that'll move you on faster. So I'll just leave you at that right there. That's the discount thing. I'll get 100,000 silver, and I'll get 5 of these personal reserves right here for free experience. And you can see the prices go up as you go. So let's count the days since we're here. Premium days. What did we get? No, no days there. No days there. No days. Oh my days. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. Well, would you look at that? 5 days. Interesting. So when I get to the 5th one, I will look at it and see if the discount thing changes when we get there. That would be, what do you think? Do you think Wargaming's that clever? I don't know. I hope so. It would be kind of cool. All right, so that is that. It only goes to the 15th. Only 10 days, so it's pretty fast. While the requirements are pretty easy, 10 days is pretty fast. And you're thinking, well, Guido, that makes it not easy, you dope. Well, okay, guy. Noted. Noted. All right, here we go. You guys ready for missions? Mission. We're going to talk about the codes thing in a minute. What you need to know right now is that you have to go to the main portal. You have to go to the main portal, and let me just show you, since we're talking about it. This is irritating, but you need to go to the main portal, and you need to find your codes, which again, the PSA, I gave that already, but I'm going to show you guys again, just in case you missed that PSA. All right, here's the main portal. You go there, okay, and you have to find your code. It's like a scavenger hunt all over again, but only on the main page. World Health Day, no smoking for tanks. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? For example, the ×2 weekend. You might think, oh, it's the weekend. There's a mission. Should be easy. I play the game. I do the mission. I get my stuff. No. No. There's a new step. The new step is go here. Click on this. There's your code. Double click that. That's a trick I learned from one of you guys. Instead of highlighting it and dragging it across, you can actually double click it. Right click. Save. Click redeem code here. Put it in. Click redeem. And it will show up in your UI. What do you think of that, huh? What do you think of them beans? I don't think much of it. I have to be honest. I like Wargaming. I do. I like the guys that work there. I like the people. I like the game, clearly. I sit around playing it a lot. I make these videos on Sunday. I don't like this. It's crap. I'm calling it. It's crap. All right. Is it the end of the world? Wargaming has destroyed their game with their codes. No, it's just annoying. So ×2 weekend. There it is. It showed up. You'll note that I haven't done any of them. Do you know why? Because I didn't know the codes. I knew the codes for the player tank class right. I knew you had to do that because I looked at it. They showed up early on Friday or Thursday. They showed up pretty early. Maybe it was Thursday. Yes, because this is a month-long thing. So they showed up a while ago. Geez, maybe even April 1st. I don't remember. Anyway, tournament missions. I had to put a code in for tournament missions, right? There's a reason why I'm doing this and clicking on these and making them declutter. We'll get to that in a minute. I knew there was a 110E4 code. It never occurred to me, I never dreamed that the weekly weekend code would be a thing. I just thought, surely the weekend ones they'll just put in. Because it's the weekend mission. They've been going on for years. No. So I've not done any of them yet. I missed an entire day of them. 1,500 base experience, pretty easy to get some goodies. Well, I completely missed a day of them. All right, so there you go. Those are the missions, the 110E4. And I said we would talk about the 110E4. Let me just say one thing about this. We'll get to it later, but the declutter thing is one of the reasons that we were given that they did the codes. I'm not buying it. That's not the main reason. That's the player-facing reason. But the good news is, remember this used to be just a huge stack, and it was kind of cluttered, and it wasn't really in any kind of order, although this is not really in any kind of order either. at least the 201, the 301, and 401 are not there until you unlock it because you finished the 101. That's good, right? That's a good idea. Oh, by the way, the declutter thing, there, I just decluttered. It was already on, it was already there. All right, 110E4, we said we'd talk about this. Let's find it. So we have, I have done one of the 10. You can see one of the 10. That's 25,000 experience. I'm getting close to doing it again, getting these goodies. But if we come down here to the ones that I finished, notice that I've played 10 battles in the T30. Remember I was talking about that. I've played 10 battles in the 110E4, and I think I'm at 8. If I can find it, because it's not in frickin' order for some reason. No, it's all over the place, driving me crazy. Look at this. Why are these not in tier order? T67, tier 5, tier 8, tier 7. God, curses. Hey, Wargaming, the declutter problem is actually the way you have it laid out. It's not that you have information there, it's that it's laid out poorly. See, I'm already getting into what we're going to talk about. Recage, focus, focus. T28, 8 battles. What happens? Well, after 10 battles in the T28, win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. You get your discount back, which is weird. I don't know if they thought this one out very well. I like it because I owned all the tanks. I've already unlocked all the tanks. Now all I have to do is play 10 battles in the T28, and I get 795,000 silver. I've already picked up 1.8 for the 110E4 and another 1 million for the T30. Math in Public, 2.8 million. Right? Almost 2.9. And now I'm going to pick up another 785. So by the time I'm done with this, because I'll probably do the T25, and I may even do all of them. I don't know. I'm going to end up with like 3 million credits for 30 battles. Right? 40 battles, something like that. Close to 3 million for 30 if I do the tier 8, 9, and 10. Anyway, jump on that. If you have those tanks, jump on that. That is a great... I don't think that's going to last. I don't see how it can. It is tied into some of the reasoning for it. I have to be careful because some of the stuff is player-facing. Some of it's what they call not player-facing. We'll get into that in just a minute. I am quite certain I do not have the whole story anyway. Why would they tell me anyway? I'm not, I'm not internal to the company. But we will talk about it. All right, where are we? Where are we? What are we doing? That is it for the missions and specials. All right, subjects du jour. Let's move on. I love corporate speak, man. It's awesome stuff. And I'm involved in plenty of it in other ways, but it just kind of cracks me up. On April 3rd, 2019, on all regions, you'll be able to fully appreciate how the improved Matchmaker changes battle quality for the better and makes World of Tanks more enjoyable than ever. That's a long sentence. We are going to bestow upon you the largesse of our excellent Matchmaker system, and you will soon realize that everything is better than it already was, even though we've said how great it was before. I'm just taking the mickey out of them, man. I like you guys. You're doing good. Actually, this has been pretty nice so far. I don't have a lot of complaints. I don't even know if I have one complaint about it so far. We're going to have to wait and see how the meta develops and whether it has any unintended consequences that we don't know about. But I think that they've made an honest effort to make it better, and so far it seems to be working pretty nicely. I will have one quibble with it. And I don't think it's a quibble that's going to matter enough, but they have decreased the number of 3-tier battles. This goes back to the reason, at least in my opinion, why a lot of people play the big tank game is to be a big stomping tank and roll over your enemies. And the one thing that the 3-tier system did is you would sometimes be in your tier 10 and you'd have a bunch of tier 8s and you could just kind of have your way with them. If they played well and surrounded you, you could die pretty quickly. But you were the big bad guy, right? You were the Godzilla. You were the Godzilla on the map, and you're going to see that a lot less. Now, whether that bums a lot of people out or not remains to be seen. I feel like it bums me out a little bit, but some of that's still there. So you will still see the 3-tier stuff. You still will be the top tier in a 3-tier sometimes. but I think they've decreased that quite a bit. The corollary to that, or the opposite end, is I'm pretty happy I'm not the tier 8 getting stomped on all the time, which is what happened more often than the scenario I started with. I just throw that out because I feel like that's been kind of a core thing of this game. And I'm wondering if after time people will get a little bit tired of always being the same tier or two tiers. And I know a lot of players have talked a long time about, man, just make it one tier play, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you really want that. If you're not a very good player, if you're an average to not a very good player, and you are always the same tier, that's not going to go that well for you. You think it is because you're like, oh, it makes it even. I'm not going to get beat up by higher tiers. But in reality, it also takes away that time when you have that tier 10 and there's a bunch of tier 8s running around. And that extra tier for you is actually in your benefit because you've got the better tank. That may not come to pass. So I'm not going to come down on either side of that. I'll be wishy-washy, but I just wanted to throw that out. Just a couple thoughts, at least initially, about what this may or may not do. So far for me, it's been pretty good. Which brings up a point. I'm a pretty good player. So is it pretty good for me because I'm a good player, or is it pretty good to me because for everybody it's been pretty good? That will be interesting. This gets into the whole skill-based matchmaking stuff as well. But we won't touch on that. I'll just throw that stuff out. All right, what's it do? Blah, blah, blah. What's it do? Reduce the number of battles with machines 2 tiers higher. That's what I was talking about. There'll be less 3-tiered battles, especially for tier 6 and 8. So it looks like they've tweaked it for those 2 tiers based on the population of the server and how many people play those tiers of tanks. To make battles more enjoyable for premium vehicles with preferential matchmaking. You know, that's interesting because I hardly ever play my pref matchmaking vehicles anymore. A couple reasons. Number one, they were not as big an advantage as they used to be. And what was the other one? Number two, there are so many better new premiums, even with seeing tier 10s, that there's not a lot of reason to play them. It used to be those were some of the best premium vehicles, even with the preferential thing. That went away with the 357 quite a bit. Plus, they got power creeped by a bunch of better premiums. Even taking out the preferential and making them C tier 10s, they were still just plain old better vehicles. But it looks like they're trying to adjust that a little bit. With the number of premiums out though, and how few relatively at this point preferential tanks there are now, I don't know why that would be a huge big deal. A lot of people have what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of people have that nostalgia for some of those preferential vehicles, but there's really not that many of them out there. All right. Relatively. Let's see. Wargaming will achieve these goals by dynamic templates. So different template. It's still kind of templated, but there's more of them, and that is able to adjust the tiering structure a little bit as far as not always being a 357 at tier 8 and your bottom tier. 7.8, 6.9, 4.11, all these numbers. You can still get the 357 and the 510, so don't be surprised if those show up. You'll see them less frequency. And it says if there's kind of an unusual situation where there's a lot of one kind of tank and things like that, you'll end up with those tiering systems. More often, it said, more often. It says the waiting time will be more, especially for platoons. I have not seen that. If you guys have, prime time seems like it happens just fine. For people who play in the off times and weird times, maybe there is more of a wait. If the increase is from 5 seconds to 10, I wouldn't notice. So maybe, that's one of those interesting number things, right? If the average wait time was 5 seconds and now it's 10 seconds, it's increased by 100%. Well, whatever. It's 5 seconds, 10 seconds doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me. All right, where are we? We're going to do something else now. Let's see. This is how we do it professionally. We get rid of that guy right there. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You know what? Let's go to excluded maps because I feel like the next subject, which is the codes thing, might go a little long. So let's try to find here. There we go. All right, so we're going to be able to exclude maps. This is something that people have asked for. I don't know why. right? I'll be honest. I don't know why. Okay, it's easy, Guido. It's because I don't like a map. I don't want to play that crappy map. It's terrible. I don't want it. Oh, okay. I bet there's like 4 or 5 maps you don't want, to be quite honest, because it's probably a style of map, not necessarily a particular map. Now, granted, some of you may just have one map you hate. Okay, you know, this is right up your alley. You're going to be able to turn off that map, that one map. That'll all of the development time and effort to let people turn off one map. Really? That's my old guy. That's my old guy thing. Really? Seriously, youngster? But here it comes. A sop to the sops, right? I don't like that map. Let me turn it off. All right, here you go. And it's not going to do anything. It's not, I know I'm coming down hard on this, but what a waste of time. All right, how will it work? Everyone's probably looking at me right now saying, "No, you clown. It's awesome." All right, fine. If that's what you think. All right, this was weird. The excluded maps feature will only be available for standard battles and not for assault or encounter battles. Head scratcher. The way I read that is, in order to not see the map at all, you would have to turn assault and encounter off and then ban the map. Is that how I'm reading that? Because it sounds like if you ban the map, you won't get it for standard, but you may get it for assault and encounter if you have those turned on. I feel like this is going to insult some of you. I've said it before. I have everything turned on, minus grand battles. See, hypocrisy. I'm nothing if not a hypocrite. Grand battles are terrible. I hate them. But anyway, where was I going? Oh, I feel like if you are a assault and encounter turner offer, you're probably a tank, a map banner kind of guy. So this will be right up your alley. It looks like, from what I read there, you won't ever see that map. If you're an assault and encounter, or one or the other kind of person, looks like maybe you're going to get it. Now, I don't understand why that would be. And maybe I'm completely misreading and misinterpreting the sentence. All right, will only work when playing tier 6 or higher. Sorry, tier 4. Roman numerals are hard. Tier 4 or higher, and will be disabled for all 3 Grand Battles maps, which means you can't ban one of the Grand Battles maps. You opt into that, off you go. That may be related to the whole assault or encounter thing. Maybe they only built it for the standard battle thing. So, interesting. Again, whatever, I don't get it. It may be, here, I wonder. Speculation, wild speculation. The assault and encounter maps are different maps. That's probably what it is. So you're allowed to ban one map. Those are different maps, and they just didn't allow you to ban it, much like you can't ban the grand battles. So there you go. That's probably what's happening right there. All right, if you wish to block a different map, this was good. So my concern immediately when I saw this, because you're a power player, you're starting to think, all right, how do I build this to my advantage? I heard, I can ban a map. Well, if I'm playing an SPG, maybe I'm doing a mission, then I ban Himmelsdorf or something that seems to be in rotation right then, because there are sites that will track what the rotation currently is. And I look at that and go, yep, ban that one. Less chance of getting the one that's bad for my artillery. But hey, guess what? You can only do it every 4 hours. So when you sit down for a session, you could do that at the beginning, do a little research of which maps seem to be in rotation. Boom, ban that. But you can't then a couple battles later look at it and go, nope, I'm going to switch to TDs. I need a TD map, so now I'm going to ban this not good TD map, yada yada. Or I'm in a scout and I want to ban a city map, that kind of thing. All right. So that's good. That's a bit of a fail-safe. It'll be interesting to see how people work around this, because with humans, and especially gamers, when you build a system, they will immediately start testing all the parameters of it and see how they can build an advantage out of it. We'll see if there's any way to do that out of this. I can't particularly see one right now, other than just being smart about banning a map that doesn't work with a tank you're grinding or whatever. Platoons. Available to platoon only to platoon creators. The other platoon members' excluded maps will be overridden. So whoever the platoon leader is, his excluded map will be what counts. We are still working on the concept, so this feature may change significantly in the future. As with everything, to be quite honest. So no big surprise there. All right, let's talk about codes, shall we? Let's talk about codes. Codes. We got to put our codes in to get our missions, or you don't get to do them. Alrighty, so I got a message from one of you guys. It says, thanks for all the tips you gave in your last message. Numbers are starting to improve, and a more productive play style is starting to evolve. This doesn't have to do with codes. This is just me patting myself on the back, all right? So false modesty is happening right now. I joined a great clan and I'm seeing many more aspects of the game and have started skirmishes and worked up to tier 10 for advances. You know, that's what I'm trying to do here with this whole channel, is help you guys out as best I can and let people enjoy the pixel tank game, right? If you a little knowledge goes a long way, you can enjoy it a little bit more if you're a little better at the game. Perfect. All right, so the important stuff. Purpose of the message, stuff came up in guild. Tell the guys would pass it along. 1, codes. Is this new? Question mark. Yes. Yes, it is. It seems people have missed some XP because on a couple of these events, you needed to enter codes to activate the mission. Have not seen this since I have been back. All right, so this is a player that left, came back, is not necessarily directly plugged in like a lot of us are, a more casual player. Some of you guys get a lot of your news from me. I've had that mentioned in the past where you don't necessarily dig around on the website and the forum constantly like I do. And why would you? You know, it's a game. Some people, this is just a casual thing, and you can look at a video that I do and save yourself some time. Why wouldn't you do that on a lot of occasions? Me, I'm all things WOT, so I'm always digging around trying to find this stuff out. Point of that is that the majority of you are not me, right? So you're not doing that constantly. You may have missed it. I missed it. I talked about it earlier. I missed it for the weekend event. I never thought in a million years it would happen, even though I knew and should have suspected. So for the big missions, the on tracks, the player class tank ride, all that, yes, codes are now a thing. And people are missing it, so they're missing out on stuff that would have automatically happened. This goes into a little bit of the reasoning behind why they're doing this. They're trying to gather numbers and look at it and see how many people play the missions and what they do. And they've now put a fence in front of the missions so that they can get a better idea of how many people are paying attention and are walking through the fence. I personally think it happens to be a really bad decision because I think it creates negative feedback almost no matter what you do. It's virtually impossible to communicate that this has happened enough. Virtually impossible. It is impossible. It's not virtually impossible. Because people don't pay attention. They play the game. They turn on the client. They play. They don't worry too much about missions. Sometimes they check it. Sometimes they're engaged and are going after a specific mission like the 110 E4 on track, blah, blah, blah. But I'm describing the whole range of players, and they all play the game. So what happens is you do something like this, and they're all irritated. The ones who don't know about it are irritated because they don't know about it. The ones who are engaged, like me, are irritated because now they have to do another 4 steps to get ready for the weekend or the week or the month, depending on what the duration of the mission is. And you've got to constantly kind of look around and find the codes. The other thing I'll throw in there, obviously, is that lately, again, Wargaming, I love you guys, but you've been kind of screwing up the webpage stuff and getting wrong information out, and it's being late. It's not posted on time. Sometimes stuff's posted that's not supposed to be posted. That's just the nature of the beast. That's what happens when you have a large portal with so much information being thrown out all the time, which is good. That's a good thing. But you have to expect that there are going to be mistakes in there. And now if we start throwing in mistakes for codes for people to do missions who may have limited time to do missions and they're trying to plan their game playing time and all that stuff, it is an extra barrier to entry, which you may want for specific reasons, but is really, really a bad idea. Right? I think my opinion, Guido's opinion, is that the ends do not justify the means in this case. Whatever it is you're trying to get out of it, and I won't get too much more into it because it's the player-facing, non-player-facing thing there, which is not something I really understood. I understand this concept, actually. It's basically stuff you tell players, stuff you don't tell players. But I guess that's kind of an industry standard term. I researched it a little bit before because I was interested. I think it's related to consumer facing, non consumer facing, which is pretty much a business idea of stuff that the consumer sees, the interaction that the consumer sees, and then the back end stuff the consumer doesn't see. So the same idea here with dealing with players, things they see, reasons why something's happening that they're told, and then reasons that they may not know, or just background stuff that doesn't matter anyway, non-player facing stuff. But there's one of your tangents for the day. So I'll leave it at that as far as the reasons go. But what I can talk about is they're trying to gather data, but it's a terrible way to do it. It really, really is a terrible way to do it. Now, speculation time on Guido's part. Pure speculation. No data from anybody. If I happen to, well, I won't speculate. Never mind. I do have a little bit of extra information. If I step on some of that, none of it's important or particularly amazing. But if I step on some of that, then I'm stepped on my own schwanz at that point. But I think it's fair to say that putting another barrier in front of people getting to the missions is bad. Now, Domo did talk a little bit on his forum post about his reasons and saying, you know what, stand by. I'm going to pause. I got to make sure I do not say the wrong thing. I have to look this up. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a drink, though. Hey, you know what? This is cold. Everyone go refresh your coffee. This is going to go long. All right, I've refueled and rearmed. I've got a Colombian. It's really full, though. So look how full. You can see it actually in the camera. Now I can't be natural. Well, I'm going to spill on myself a bit. And it's hot. Ow. I had to avoid the donut shop. Who likes weak coffee? Any of you guys like weak coffee? I do not like weak coffee, and my wife does. Not weak, but she doesn't like this strong. Let's put it that way. She doesn't like it strong or dark. She likes, standard coffee, like donut shop coffee. All the brands have their like donut shop weak crummy version that's like water. So where was I going with that? Oh, I had to make her some coffee. That's right, because I'm the coffee fairy. All right, don't judge. I make the coffee. The coffee appears as if out of nowhere on the nightstand. Coffee fairy. There you go. Don't laugh. All right, where was I? Oh, we're going to talk about Domo's thing. Okay, so I found it. It's a post. It's in the well, I might as well show it to you. It's not like it's a secret. It's a post. You know what I mean? As soon as I can click on that from my coffee-addled fingers. Yeah. All right. Hey, tankers. My fingers are also, they're really sore because I did a bunch of yard work. Ever since the hurricane. Can I bitch about the hurricane? Do you guys mind if I go off on a tangent about the hurricane? I have had nothing but yard work for 6 months, and it still doesn't seem like it's over. I can go out every weekend for 6 months, and I have most weekends. Do yard work on stuff, take stuff out, fix sprinklers, blah blah blah, and I never make any progress. It seems like. Well, okay, I got the shed moved. I did fix the sprinkler system, and I got my garden put in. So that's kind of progress towards normalcy. But I'm still digging holes, fixing fences. Man. And so that's why my back is killing me too with my hands. You know what's really cool? You know what I have found is really awesome right now? Electric hedgers, the battery powered ones. Now, I don't have a big piece of land. I don't have a farm. I don't have acres of stuff. So you probably wouldn't want something that's battery powered for something like that if you're more a power user and you live out in the country. But I'm here in the suburbs, and I got a relatively decent sized yard, but not big. Some bushes, a lot less since the hurricane came and smashed the snot out of everything. But those battery powered ones they're a little bit heavy, but man, they are awesome. No cord, no gas. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, Domo. That was a good tangent right there. That was a good tangent. Domo says, I've been seeing a lot of chatter about the fact that it's necessary to opt in. Your feedback's not falling on deaf ears. Meantime, I did speak and get a bit of context. And he goes on to talk about, and I'm not really tracking this, but there's a discount coming up for the anniversary weekend. And it's connected, I guess, to the 110E4. discount, because what happens if there's two discounts with a mission? If there's two discounts with a mission, the lower one, they don't stack, basically. One of them takes over. So you got a little kind of screwed out of the 110E4, I guess, tech tree discounts. Which is why earlier I was talking about, hey, play 10 battles and get a ridiculous amount of credits back if you own those vehicles. Lastly, he says, all this said, if you're still not thrilled about the bonus code thing, it's not necessarily how we're going to be doing missions moving forward. It's sort of an experiment on our end. All right, okay, so fair enough. I've come down hard against it, obviously. I mean, I've been here bitching about it for 15 minutes probably, because it's the end of the world as we know it. That's good news, right? So hopefully they are going to hear everybody and say, you know what, that's probably just really not worth it. Now here's a thing that, and I always love to look at this stuff with wargaming and go, if I was doing this, what would I do to make it cool? Right? Now I'm always coming from the player's perspective, so I'm probably always going to be way over on the player side of making it cool for the player, and it's probably not great for the company as far as monetization goes. But leave the monthly stuff automatic. Clean up your UI so it's not so confusing. That doesn't mean make everything go away and have people put codes in. And have a couple things for codes here and there. Right? Just let it be known that, hey, on occasion we're going to have an interesting mission show up and it's going to be by code. So you sort of have to pay attention. That's fine, because driving traffic to their website and stuff is in their interest. As long as you don't make everything completely painful, you can do other things to make it painful. I'm not really sure where I was going with that, to be quite honest. Apparently nowhere. All right, I think we're about done beating up the codes here. We got excluded maps. We did the codes thing. No, that's it, man. That's pretty much all I got. Pretty much all I got. What do we got? So we're gonna stream coming up this week. Hopefully multiple times. We'll see how that goes. At least Wednesday. Definitely going to stream on Wednesday. We'll play the TS5 and do some other things on that. In fact, by Wednesday, the mission will still be going, so we'll see how far I can get on the mission there as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy having a coffee with you all in the morning. Support the channel as always. I do appreciate it, and we will see you.